Hey everyone, welcome to my very first video in English. My English is not perfect at all, but I try my best and I hope I don't make too many mistakes. So if you would like to know how I got paralyzed 15 years ago, then keep on watching. Everything started on June 23rd in 2002. I went to the beach with my mom, my sister and a friend of mine. And on our way back, I suddenly felt pain in my belly. It started right here. And it was not that bad at first, but it got worse and worse. And I couldn't breathe that right anymore, and I started to scream because it was so bad. My mom tried to calm me down and she tried to show me how to breathe, but I couldn't focus on that because of the pain. It was just too bad. It always lasts for a few seconds and then it went away for some time. I can't really remember. When we arrived at home, the pain was gone, so I could walk upstairs with the help of my mom and my sister. I tried to use the bathroom because I had to pee really bad, but it didn't work anymore. Then the pain came back and I had to lay on a couch. My mom made a cup of tea and a hot water bottle and put it on my belly because we thought it might make the pain go away. But when I wanted to move my legs, I realized that I couldn't do that anymore and I couldn't feel them anymore. So I told my mom and she got a needle, and I hate needles really bad and I'm afraid of them. But when my mom poked me with it, I didn't feel anything at all. We were both shocked and my mom called a doctor, and when he arrived he asked me a few questions like if I had an accident or if anything happened to me, but it didn't. And then he said that he can't do anything for me but to call the ambulance. They came to pick me up. At that time the pain was completely gone, but I was still afraid for it to come back. I was rushed to the hospital and the doctor was waiting for me already, and my mom and my sister arrived shortly after. He asked me questions again, and then I tried to go to the bathroom, but still didn't work. The doctor told us that the helicopter is already on its way to pick me up and to take me to another hospital. So I was very happy about that because I always wanted to go on a helicopter. My mom and my sister, they were not happy about that at all. They were afraid and they were worried. I think 20 minutes later, the people from the helicopter came to pick me up. The doctor explained everything to me, that he will ask me if I'm okay during the flight. So if everything's fine, he wanted me to give a thumbs up, and if not, a thumbs down. And he told me that the flight will only take 20 minutes. So when we took off, I got very tired, but I didn't want to close my eyes because I didn't want the doctor to think that I feel worse, and I didn't want him to worry about me. When we arrived at the hospital, there were nurses and doctors waiting for me, and they brought me to the ICU for children. I got asked a bunch of questions again, like if I had an accident, if I got hurt, if I was pregnant, if I took any drugs. They drew my blood, they gave me some medication and all kinds of things I can't remember. Then we had to go to get an MRI. That took about 2 hours because they checked my brain and my whole spine. And during that I finally got some sleep. So at about, I think 11 o'clock in the evening, they were done with the MRI, and there was another doctor, and he asked me how my legs feel. And I told him that they feel like they fell asleep, and they were tingling and felt like there were ants crawling up and down inside, and they felt really warm. So it was not a bad feeling at all. When we went back to the ICU, my mom, my sister, and my grandpa were waiting for me, and they were talking to another doctor while I was gone. And she told them about the medication they gave me, about the tests they were running, and yeah, all kinds of things. And they also told my family that things might get worse, because at that point I had a hard time breathing. I couldn't move my arms that good anymore, and I couldn't grab things anymore, and I had problems talking. I was talking in slow motion. Yeah, they told my family that I might be, or that I might need help to breathe. Yeah, that was scary for them. They didn't tell me anything about it, so I didn't worry about it. My family went home at about 2 o'clock in the morning to get my stuff. And before I went to sleep, I told myself that everything will be fine in the morning, that everything was just a bad dream, and that I would be okay. And yeah, but when I woke up the next morning, it was not a bad dream. I was still paralyzed from chest down. I still couldn't move my legs, and I still couldn't feel them. In the morning, the doctor came to check on me, and he checked my reflexes, and I always hated that, especially on my feet, because my skin felt weird on my feet, and it always hurt when somebody touched them, or when I had to wear socks, or when I had to wear shoes. Even when I put the blanket on my feet, it hurt really bad. Yeah, they did some other tests, and I only remember that they did a spinal tap. And 3 days later, the results came back, and it showed that I had an enterovirus in my back, which caused an inflammation from the 7th to the 11th vertebra in my chest. Yeah, that was the good thing, that we knew what was wrong with me. But the bad thing was that there was no medication on the market so far. My doctors did some research, and they found a study in the USA. People there tried to find a cure for that virus, and they had some medication, but they still had to test that on people. So the doctors tried to get me in, and thank God I got accepted. We had to fill out so many paperwork, and the doctor had to explain everything to us, and yeah, they needed some information like how much I weigh and how tall I am and all kinds of things. So they sent everything back to the USA. That was on Friday, and on Sunday at midnight I took the first dose of that medication. It didn't taste that good, but I didn't care. I had to take it 3 times a day for a few days. Yeah, and then they did another spinal tap, and it showed that the virus was gone, but I was still paralyzed. Nothing had changed. I still couldn't move my legs, still couldn't feel them anymore. So they had to do another MRI, and that showed that I had a bleeding in my spine caused by a cavernoma. That's what the neurosurgeon told my mom, and he also told her that it looks like I might never be able to walk again, but that he's not 100% sure about it, because there are nerves in my back who might do the job that the damaged nerves can't do anymore. and he said only time will tell if I will be able to walk again or not. Yeah, that's what my mom told me, and I was not sad and I wasn't shocked, because I still had the option that I might be able to walk again. So that was what kept me from going crazy or from getting angry or sad or anything. And I think it was harder for my family to accept everything than it was for me. I stayed at the ICU for about 3 weeks, and then they told me that I have to go to a rehabilitation center to get used to my new life and to a wheelchair. I was not happy about it at all, because I wanted to go home. I wanted my old life back, and I didn't want anything to do with a wheelchair. So I went to rehab. I had physical therapy every day for at least 30 minutes. My therapist moved my legs to make them stay flexible. We practiced how to balance, and I practiced how to hold myself up, because I always had to use my hands to hold myself up. We tried to stand in a stand-up. I had to learn to get out of my chair and to get in my chair. I had to learn how to get in my bed, or get back in the chair when I fall out of my chair, or when I fall backwards in my chair. Yeah, so many things. I had occupational therapy. There we also practiced how to balance. I had to learn how to get dressed all by myself. That was very hard at first, because I only could use one hand, because I had to hold myself up with the other hand. So it took me about 45 minutes to put some pants on and to put a shirt on. We also practiced getting in and out of the chair, getting in the bathtub, and everything you do every single day. I had sports therapy. That was my favorite, because I got to play basketball. I loved playing basketball at school when I was walking, and I was very happy that I could play it in my wheelchair, and that it was fun to play it. I didn't expect that. And it made me forget about everything. It made me forget about my old life, and I went swimming with my therapist. That was fun too. We played hockey. We did so many sports. I tried to play tennis and badminton and all kinds of things. I also had school 3 times a week, I think, for 45 minutes. I had to stay at rehab for 6 months, and I went home for good on December 20th in 2002. Every year I had to get an MRI, and I had to go to my neurosurgeon. He would always look at the images to make sure that the cavernoma is not bleeding again. And I showed him that I started feeling things, and that I was able to move my legs a little bit and my feet. We did that for about 2 years. And in 2004, when I went to see him, I was able to walk a few steps with some help. And my doctor was very happy about it, but he was also worried, because if the cavernoma started bleeding again, it would paralyze me again. And we didn't want that, and he didn't want that, so he said it would be better if we would do surgery. So I was happy about it, because I already had nerve pain so many times that scared me really bad, and my fingers started to tingle and they went numb sometimes, so that scared me always. So I was very happy when we scheduled the surgery for the 7th of September in 2004. The doctor said the surgery will only take like 2 or 3 hours, but Yeah, in the end it took 8 hours because there were some complications. The carcinoma was bigger than expected and it was almost getting ready to bleed again. But the doctor and his team took everything out. The carcinoma was completely removed. Bad thing was that I couldn't move that much anymore and I couldn't feel that much anymore, but I didn't really care. I was happy that I was first alive and that the carcinoma was removed completely and that I didn't have to worry about that anymore. I didn't have to be afraid anymore. So yeah, I was very thankful for that. 7 days later I was able to go home, and I think in February or March of 2005 I had an angiography to make sure that my veins are fine in my back. I was afraid of that because they put a needle or they put a catheter in your veins, and that scared me really bad, but it didn't hurt at all. I didn't feel it at all. It was very interesting because I could watch everything on the screen, and I could ask questions. The doctors explained everything to me, so it was very interesting and really cool. The neurosurgeon told us that everything was fine, carcinoma wasn't there anymore, there was nothing left. We were very happy about that, and I was very happy about it. He said that we don't need MRIs anymore, but that he still wants to see me every single year. So that's what we did. I went to see him for the very last time in November 2007. It was good and sad at the same time. It was good because I finally didn't have to go to hospitals anymore. I didn't have to do the tests every single year and stuff like that, but it was sad because I wouldn't see my doctor anymore and I wouldn't see the nurses anymore. They were so nice, my doctor and his team and the doctors at the ICU and the nurses there, they were so good, and I'm so thankful for every single one of them. And it made me sad. I am happy that I don't have to be worried about the carcinoma anymore, but there are moments when my body feels different, when I have nerve pain, and then I am scared sometimes a little bit. And I think that feeling will never go away. I think you will always be afraid of something like that again. But I'm getting more and more relaxed about it. I'm making this video to show that you can still have a good life when you're paralyzed. You can still accomplish all your goals and you can still make your dreams come true. It might take a little longer and you might need some help, but that's okay. It's really hard sometimes, and I have really bad days when I'm sad, when I'm depressed, when I cry, when I'm mad, when I ask myself, why me? Why did it happen to me? What did I do wrong? But then there are happy days when I'm happy to be alive and when I realize that life is good and that I'm here for a reason. I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I'm happy that I could experience 2 different lives. I lived a normal life, a healthy life for 15 years. I was able to walk, I was able to dance, I was able to wear high heels, I was able to do whatever I want without any help. And now my life is completely different. I can't do anything like that anymore. But it's still a good life. I met so many awesome people, and I met my best friends who are also in a wheelchair, and some others have other handicaps. I got closer to my family, which is awesome. I became a stronger person and I don't worry about things anymore. I'm more relaxed about things. Yeah, I don't worry about my future that much anymore because I live in the moment and tomorrow is never promised. To me, giving up is not an option. It was never an option. And if I can do it, you can do it. So if you have any questions, just let me know. You can follow me on Facebook or Instagram. I put the links down below. You can leave me a comment if you like. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you guys all the best and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.